You use AI, and you have probably heard the word token thrown around in the pricing, in the settings, in every conversation about how these models work. And you have probably nodded along without ever really knowing what one is. That's the thing this video fixes. By the end, you'll know exactly what a token is, whether you can actually hold one, who owns them, and why the entire trillion-dollar AI industry is, underneath everything, a business built on selling them. Start with what actually happens when you use one of these things. Say you open ChatGPT and type, "What's the weather today?" Before the AI does anything at all, a small piece of software called a tokenizer takes your sentence and chops it into pieces. Not words, pieces. Some of them are whole words. Weather is one token. Some are smaller. Even the little s in what's is its own token, and the space between two words counts too. A rough rule is that one token is about 3/4 of a word, or roughly 4 characters. So your little question is only about 5 or 6 tokens. And it isn't always neat. The word understanding isn't one token, it's 3. Under, stand, eng. Even a single emoji is a token. The machine does not see your letters, and it does not see your words the way you do. It sees tokens, and it turns every one of them into a number. Here is the part that tends to surprise people, because it's so much simpler than it sounds. Reading your tokens and guessing the next one, that is the whole thing a language model does. It looks at the tokens you gave it, and it predicts the single most likely token to come next. Then it adds that token and predicts the next one. Then the next. One at a time, thousands of times over. That is why, when the AI answers you, you can watch the words appear piece by piece across the screen. You are literally watching it choose the next token, over and over, until it decides to stop. Everything that feels like intelligence, every answer and essay and line of code, is that one small move repeated at enormous speed. Tokens are the atoms. The whole thing is built out of them. So can you hold one? No. And this matters, because it's where most people get confused. A token is not a coin. It is not a file sitting somewhere with your name on it. It is just a number standing in for a fragment of text, alive for the fraction of a second. The machine needs to do its math, and then gone. You never possess tokens the way you possess money in an account. And while we're here, these are not the crypto tokens people buy and trade and speculate on. Same word, completely unrelated thing. An AI token is not an asset you own. It is a unit of work the machine does, and a unit you quietly get charged for. Which leads to the real question. If you can't hold them, who controls them? The companies that build the models do, and they control every part of it. They decide what counts as a token in the first place, because they design the tokenizer. They count every token that goes in, and every token that comes back out. And they set the price. When you use AI inside an app, you never see this, but underneath, tokens are being rented by the millions. Businesses pay per token, one price for the tokens they send in, a separate and usually higher price for the tokens the model sends back. 1 million tokens might cost about $1 on a cheap model, or 75 on a powerful one. You never buy tokens the way you buy anything else you own. You spend them, and someone else owns the meter. And that meter runs at a scale that is almost impossible for you to picture. At its big developer conference in 2026, Google said it was processing more than 3 quadrillion tokens every single month across its products. To feel how fast that grew. The same number was about 480 trillion a year earlier, and under 10 trillion the year before that. Its systems now handle something like 19 billion tokens a minute. OpenAI, through ChatGPT, runs hundreds of trillions more on top of that. Every one of those tokens is a fragment of a question being answered or a task being done, and every one of them was counted and priced by a handful of companies. That is what the AI economy actually is. Beneath the chatbots and the demos, an enormous, invisible business of selling tokens by the quadrillion. So the next time an AI answers you, you'll know what's really happening. Your words were broken into tokens you'll never see, handed to a machine that does exactly one thing. Guess the next token, and every piece, going in and coming back out, was tallied on a meter you don't own, run by a company you're renting from. Not magic, and not a mind, just an unimaginably fast machine, turning your words into numbers and charging you by the piece. Which leaves the one question this video can't answer. All of that money flows to whoever owns the meter, and almost none of it flows back to you, the person who trained it and pays to use it. Is there anything, any rule anywhere, that will ever make them share? That is where we go next.